So if it isn't obvious by now, I keep up with a lot of the current Western Shonen Jump lineup. Altogether, between watching and reading, I'm up to date with My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, Doctor Stone, World Trigger, Undead Unluck, Kaiji no 8, Mashal, Sakamoto Days, Spy X Family, Twin Star Exorcist, and Boruto, and this is excluding Chainsaw Man, which will be coming out with its next part sometime in the next year. It can be difficult for one to keep up with a multitude of series, but I take pride in it because I'm simply built different. Now, with being up to date with all these series, I ended up feeling like I needed something new to add to the lineup, and a buddy of mine was recommending me a series for a long time. This series is known as Hitsuchi Gondaria's Mission Yozakura Family, a story of the famous Yozakura spy family and the MC who gets just beyond involved in their lifestyle, but marries the head of the family too. If there is one word that I can describe this series, it's without a doubt consistent. See, Yozakura takes the elements of family similar to Spy X Family and intertwines it in more of that shonen way with the action and some supernatural elements, but it doesn't feel like it takes away from what the story is about at its core. Gradually but surely, the series continued to get better and better as you come to learn about the different characters of the Yozakura family and the main villains as well. This series has a perfect balanced formula that is shown within the chapters and without a doubt plays perfectly as the story goes on. To elaborate on this, I want to break things down into 3 critical sections, but before that, let's talk about the introduction of the series. The main character of the story is a young boy named Taiyo, the surviving member of his family due to a car accident and is typically shy unless he's with a classmate known as Mutsumi, who is the current head of the Yozakura family. The eldest brother naturally seeks to protect his family from anybody that might pose a threat or gets too close, especially to the head, thus throwing Taiyo in a life or death situation in which the only way to prevent the brother from taking him out is to marry the head of the Yozakura, which will give him the protection of the Yozakura family rule that no family shall kill each other under any circumstances. My first impressions were that this series seems pretty fun, but in order to keep my attention, the story needed to convey to me what did it mean to be a member of the Yozakura family, and slowly but surely my answers were given. This goes into the 3 critical sections that can be broken down, which together make up the story. The first section is the spy world itself. There are plenty of spies in the game, and as such, that forces Taiyo to become strong and to go on missions to deal with the various threats to society and anything that may result in Mitsumi being in danger. Through the spy world, this allows the cast to grow as you meet many different pro or lower rank spies or those in different organizations who are positively affiliated with the Yozakura. It's a formula that's similar to Sakamoto Days, for example. Once these characters are introduced and become friends with Taiyo, they show up in future chapters to spice things up or when their area expertise is needed depending on the mission. Yozakura does have a decently sized cast, but the way things play out gives enough flexibility for everyone to stay relevant throughout the course of the story without it feeling out of place. Additionally, this also allows for large-scale team-ups in the future arcs when those pinnacle moments are huge and the stakes are high. The second section will be the Yozakura family itself, and no, I don't mean anything on the levels of Fast and the Furious memes where family overcomes all, but the character development and abilities of each family member that renders the Yozakura the top dogs in the spy world. I mentioned before that Mutsumi is the head, but under her lies 6 siblings, each with their own area of expertise. To start off with the eldest brother, we have Kyoichiro, the one who is obsessed with Mutsumi but will go to the ends of the earth to protect her as well. He is the main one that really teaches Taiyo how to survive in the spy world and trains him without a shred of diligence being spared. He is the master of the steel spider, which are steel-like threads which he can manipulate at will to slice up targets, capture them, or create the ultimate impenetrable defense. Next we have Futaba, the eldest daughter of the family. She's short yet deadly and takes the motherly role of the family as well. She's typically calm and very thorough with all her techniques unless she's drunk, in which her personality does a complete 180 and she becomes energetic and very violent. She is the master of martial arts and has a very large set of attacks stemming from a combination of her martial arts and the use of energy known as Aki. Next we have Shinzo, who is the second son of the family. He's tall, ripped, and one heck of a weapons master as well. He's one of low self-esteem and a bit of a scaredy cat, but is an absolute beast when it comes to completing a mission or protecting his family, especially when he's well equipped. He is able to create and modify all sorts of weapons as he's the one who created Taiyo's signature as well. His signature is known as the Ukon, a formless ally that can take any form of weapon he may need to get the job done and become a walking arsenal himself. Following Shinzo, we have Shion, the second daughter in the family, who is also the nonchalant gamer of the family as well. She can pretty much deal with everything tech-wise and no challenge is too big for her technological skills. Although physically she can't hold a candle to her family members, she surpasses them in technological prowess. Shion's ability is quite literally gaming with a twist. She uses gaming programs to hack into the things that she needs. She beats the game and the hack comes off successful. Depending on what she's trying to hack, the game could get very hard. She's one gamer that might just give Kirito a run for his money. Coming after Shion, we have Kango, the third son of the Yozakura. Kango is the free-spirited goofball of the family, and he has the tendency to only go on missions that he deems fun, but does them thoroughly if he does complete them. He tends to enjoy himself on missions and even does a little bit of tomfoolery against his enemies. Kango specializes in disguises and espionage, as he's able to replicate the very look of somebody down to their voice and personality. It's rare somebody outside of the family can quickly tell if Kango is portraying somebody else or not. Last but not least, we have Nanao, the youngest of the family. Nanao has 2 forms, and when mutated, he's very large and muscular and has a bucket over his face. This is typically when he's on missions or at home working in the lab. At school, however, he has a shorter appearance with a shortcut. Nanao is overall a nice kid who loves to work on all sorts of medicines and experimentation to help on others with their mission. Regardless of his mutated form, he strives to do his best to his medical work for the sake of protecting his friends and family. Together with all the members of the family and Tayo becoming the brother-in-law, there are all sorts of character development and interactions that allow each member of the family to uplift and support each other. Tayo losing his family at a young age is having to become reaccustomed to essentially having siblings again, and he also reassures them through their moments of doubt. Over the course of the series, whether missions or slice-of-life chapters, there are plenty of times where the family interacts with each other and allows Tayo to prove to them that he is worthy of being married to Mutsumi. Similar to Spy X Family, there is a perfect balance of keeping your family life in balance with your spy life, and without a doubt is one of the most enjoyable aspects of the series. The last section, which is definitely the more plot-driven aspect of the series, is more of a 2-in-1. It's the antagonist and the supernatural aspect of the series. If there is one type of aesthetic that defines Yozakura, it's definitely the cherry blossom, since Yozakura in Japanese means cherry blossom at night. Well, what does this have to do with the series? Well, it comes down to the supernatural aspect of the show, known as Somenine and the blooming. Somenine is a special essence that purely exists only in those who are naturally born in the Yozakura family. When Somenine strengthens the body to its limits, it is known as the blooming. Through the blooming, your strength will become stronger, and you gain one unique ability per person based off your personality. This supernatural existence is what leads to the set of main antagonists for the series, known as the Tonpopo, an organization who are the main enemies of the Yozakura and are responsible for the deaths not only of the Yozakura, but Tayo's family as well. The leader of the group is known as Kawashida, a man who has a long history dealing with the Yozakura and has found a way to replicate a synthetic form of the Somenine, which can basically recreate a version of the blooming. Naturally, this cannot be allowed because if everyone could bloom and control that type of power, the balance of the world will be thrown off balance, leading into the first major act of the series. However, there is a lot more going on than what is presented. As more details are brought into light, there are more questions as well. Who really were Tayo's parents, and how are they connected to the Yozakura and the Tonpopo? And most importantly, why have the generation of Yozakura before the current decide to play a part now? These events and questions do in fact lead into the introduction of Grandma and Granddad, but most importantly, what's a family story without some good old daddy issues? The father of the Yozakura, without a doubt, is one of the biggest mysteries in the series yet, and from my perspective, seems to be a late game villain. His presence whenever he pops up certainly keeps you engaged and makes you keep on guessing what his objective is. Yozakura Family certainly is the hidden gem of the current Jump lineup in terms of weekly chapters. There are plenty of things that this series does fantastic, and I can only hope that next year we do get a season 1 announcement because we certainly have plenty of content to adapt. It's an amazing series that to me deserves a lot more recognition than it has right now, and it's safe from the Shonen Jump acts, so without a doubt, I certainly recommend everyone to read this series when they can. You can read it on the Shonen Jump app or on Viz Media Online, and with that, it's going to bring me to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed this type of content and would like to see me talk about more manga series in the future, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and leave a comment down below about Yozakura Family if you have any thoughts or questions. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe and warm out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.